So what's up guys, it's Consistency here again, and I'm back again with part 2 of my who's going to win the Premier League, the 2016-17 season. So last time I touched on Manchester City, and this time I'm going to give my reasons on why I think Manchester United can win the league this season. And even if they don't, I think they're going to be one of the top 2 teams in of the league this season. So just like the last time, the first reason is going to be they got a new manager. So Man United had their problems with Louis van Gaal. He just didn't really connect with the players. The players really didn't like him. He signed world-class players, like he signed Di Maria, and well, not all world-class players, but he signed good players like Di Maria. He signed Depay, and they just couldn't perform under him. Like you could watch them play, like you can watch Di Maria play on Real Madrid, and he played pretty good, and he was pretty helpful when they won the Champions League. And you can watch Depay when he played for PSV, and he scored like, I don't know, like probably like 18 goals, or he scored like a lot of goals in his last season for PSV. But when he comes to Man U, all of that goes away. It's like he's a new player, and he just didn't know how to perform his best under Van Gaal. So they have a new manager who's definitely gonna get the best out of their players. And Jose Mourinho's done a lot. He won the Champions League with Inter, and he's won the Champions League with Porto. So those two aren't really the best. Like they're not really like the best of teams. I know they're pretty good like during those times, but they're not really the best of teams like historically. So the fact that he can win a Champions League with teams like those shows that he's a good manager, and that he can really make something happen with this Manchester United side. Also, he did just win the Premier League with Chelsea around like 2 seasons ago, and he won it by like 10 points or something like that. So he can definitely be successful with Manchester United. So another point where Man United can win the league is that Mourinho just signed like new players to fill like problems that Man United has been having like last season. So first player I'm going to talk about is Bailly. So they've kind of had defensive problems with like Daley Blind and Chris Smalling. Both of them are pretty good, and they're getting better with time. Because Daley Blind, quite frankly, I honestly do not know like which position he's naturally supposed to play. Because with Holland he played left back before Man United signed him. In Man U, he started as like a defensive mid, and now he's playing center back. It's just he's all over the place. But either way, he's pretty flexible in playing those positions, and he's only going to get better with time. He's got off to a pretty decent start this season, so he's been playing pretty alright. But honestly, he's still a liability, because while he's okay, he's pretty good at playing out from the back, but his defensive abilities still aren't up to scratch with like some better defenders. So I think Bailly kind of fixes that void. I think Chris Smalling's pretty good, so I think I don't know if he's injured or not right now, but I really feel like it's going to be him and Bailly who are going to be like the main center back pairing for Manchester United. But if not, then of course it'll be Daley Blind. But either way, Bailly's still a great defender, and I think he's a good signing for Man U, and they make sure they have like defensive depth. So if any of their players get injured, then it won't be over for them. They also got another big signing. They managed to get Ibrahimovic for free. So that's insane. They picked him up off the end of his contract. As everyone knows, it's probably like the worst kept transfer secret of this summer. because we've known he was going, like we've heard the rumors like before the Euros even started. So it's fantastic that they were able to sign a player of his quality, and it's fantastic that now Ibra has played in like around like 5 leagues and like 3 of the top leagues, like Serie A, La Liga, and now Premier League, and he's got off to a pretty good start. So yeah. Okay. Right now I'm just gonna clarify something. If you guys hear like a sound in the background, I'm actually like looking up like some information like on Google Chrome, like just making sure I don't say anything like wrong when I say like how many goals the player scored. Like I just looked up the Pi because I think I just said he scored like 18 goals in this last season for PSV, and it was actually like 22. So that sound is like me shaking my mouse because I kind of do that when I'm talking. So I'm just clarifying that right now. Okay, next player I'm going to talk about is Emerick Mkhitaryan. So he's a good playmaker. He offers a lot of creativity, and he can play in the midfield, so mainly as an attacking mid, and he can play as a forward, usually on the right. So that's where I've seen him play on Dortmund, and of course he can play like both sides, because I believe he's good with like both his feet. So yeah, he's a good signing, and I think he can do well in Manchester United. Though he hasn't been starting a while, so I wonder if Jose Mourinho is planning to use him as a starter for the most part, or if he's planning to use him like maybe not as a starter, but like occasionally he might start him, or if like his main players get injured. Because I believe Juan Mata has actually been in that position that Mkhitaryan has been most of the time. But yeah. And the last one I'm going to talk about is the biggest transfer signing ever, and you guys already know who it is. Paul Pogba. So Pogba re-signed for Manchester United for around £89 million. So I think that's a great signing for Manchester United. Honestly, if I were Pogba, I would have waited for like a bigger team, preferably one in Champions League, to sign me before leaving before leaving Juventus, because honestly, Man United aren't a bad team, but I think that Pogba is going to have to do a lot because he's on a higher level than most of the players there. So they did sign Ibra, and they did sign like Mkhitaryan in them, but I still think like Pogba is still on a higher level than most of the other players, like Fellaini, like Blind, like Herrera, and some of the other players in Man U. And I feel like there's gonna be a lot of pressure on him, like to lead the team to win the league and stay successful, because he is a world-class player, and most of the time, if the team doesn't perform, like a lot of fans will just blame him, and the media will like report it like it's his fault. So I think it would have been better if he just signed for a bigger team. But in terms of Man United signing him, it's a great transfer for them. He's a great player. He can do pretty much everything you'd want a midfielder to do. He's good defensively, he's good offensively, and he's good at holding the play. So he can play possession football, he can play super defensive, super offensive, like I just stated. And he's just all around a great player. I think he is going to get better at Man United, but honestly, he's already a good player. So if he does get good or better, I doubt it's going to be like by a whole lot. But yeah, I think Pogba is a good signing for Manchester United, and hopefully he can get them back to the top. And I believe he will. So right there I just stated most of my reasons why I think both of these teams would be the top 2 teams of the league by the end of the season, and why I think that both of them have been a pretty much equal chance of winning the league. I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those two. Like Liverpool and Chelsea, they do have the likes of Klopp and Conte, and they've done signings and they've changed their teams. But I just don't think that they're on the same level as both the Manchester teams, and I just don't think that they have the same chances of winning the league as the two Manchester teams. So, yeah. So, I'm just going to say which Manchester team I really think is going to win the league, and which one has the better edge over the other. And I think it's going to be Manchester City. So, my reasons why is because Manchester City are a pretty solid team. They signed Guardiola as the manager, like I've already stated, but he gets the best out of all the players he uses. Like in Bayern Munich, he used Koeman, who I believe they got on loan. And they used Koeman, and he played like a first team member, and he scored in the Champions League in their match against Juventus. And he just plays so confident when he plays, and he's just so explosive, and he plays just excellent as like a substitute player. And also, I know Bayern has like a good youth programs and stuff, but Guardiola gets the best out of his reserve team or reserve players too. Like when he had the injury problems in defense, all the defenders he used from like the reserve teams in them, all of them were playing good. Like none of them played nervous. They weren't like, they didn't have any like low confidence or anything. They weren't giving away like easy passes. Like they all played like they were first team players, and they all played like they were fully confident and knew exactly what they were doing. So I'm not saying that Jose Mourinho can't make his players play like this. I'm saying that Pep Guardiola he just makes teams. He just gets the best out of every player he has. And like we've seen in Bayern, like playing Bayern at home was probably like any team's nightmare, unless they're a Spanish team, of course. But playing Bayern at home, like during Guardiola's time there, was a nightmare. Like I remember one game they were playing Porto, and they lost to Porto 3-1 in Portugal. But when they played in Bayern, they beat them like 6-0 or something. So that just goes to show how much Guardiola can really just change a team, how they play. He can just bring the best out of all the players, and he can just make every player play to their highest potential, and he can make teams play just insanely greatly. And just fitting what I'm saying, you can see right there, I just win the game with a last-minute penalty, and it couldn't have been better because me playing the AI, they were so close. I was just playing on professional, but yeah, I managed to win. So the reason I think, one weakness I think that's in Manchester United is Jose Mourinho. He's a good manager, but like we've seen with Chelsea, he doesn't like to use like bench players for them. He doesn't use like reserves or any good players he has but aren't part of his first team. He usually sticks with the first team he has. He sticks with the players he buys, and he doesn't let anyone else play. Like for example, Schweinsteiger. In my opinion, Schweinsteiger is one of the best midfielders that Man United has, and he doesn't want to use him. Like he made him practice with the reserves. So that's a pretty bad thing to do, in my opinion. I mean, Schweinsteiger he's better than like Fellaini and better than some of the other players he has, but he refuses to use him just because he's not in Mourinho's plans. So I think that can spell some problems for Mourinho, because it kind of shows you how he manages. Like he doesn't trust everyone else with like carrying the burden of leading a team like to win the league, and sometimes he just doesn't have the backing of the players. Like in his last season at Chelsea, when he finished, or he was around like probably like 13th place in the league, and then he got sacked. He said they lost it, or the media said he lost the dressing room, and none of the players were on his side. That they refused to play for him, and you can really see it on the field. So I'm not saying that's gonna happen in Manchester for him this season, because I really doubt it. But it says that Pep Guardiola has like a better relationship with players, and Mourinho, he has good relationship with players, but sometimes it's just completely horrible, and it could go wrong. So these have been my reasons. I think at the end of the season, Manchester City will win it again, and honestly, I think they'll do decent in Champions League as well, because Guardiola's experienced in it, and there's no reason they shouldn't. Also, Man United should do good in the Europa League too, because they have practically a squad that would do good in Champions League as well, but they're playing in the Europa. So these have been my predictions. Hopefully you guys can agree with me, and if not, you can put it in the comments below, and you can start discussions right there. I'll respond to them because I have all the time right now. So anyway, thanks for watching my video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.